Yeah. Okay. We're playing a game by unmediocre slash gamer disclaimer slash masked villain. It's called Cunniculus, and you play as a bunny. It's basically just Murloc 1, not Murloc 2. There's a difference. Bunnies don't make that ahoa 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 sound. So you're a bunny called Lepus. You're talking with Buster the bunny. You're also talking with other bunnies, like you'll see in a minute. With Yojimbo the bunny. I think that's how you call it. Google Translate told me this. Sorry for the potentially bad pronunciation. But yeah, one of the things you'll notice is the inconsistency with these rabbits. Actually, no, the first thing you'll notice is that they're rabbits in the first place. It's basically just Murloc with rabbits. It's the same thing, but you know, the names are changed a little bit. Some rabbits, not all. And there's an item that got changed. Here's Trix the rabbit from the cereals, and here's Roger the rabbit. Here's Edgar the rabbit. There are 3 Edgar the rabbits. Ed, and Eddie. Am I right? As you can see, this is Lepus from the Lepus movie. Lepus. Lepus. You know, there's a movie about a radioactive rabbit that you know turns very huge and spreads his genes like any other rabbit, and soon you know an army of giant radioactive rabbits starts to terrorize people. Here's Max the rabbit from Sam and Max. There's one last rabbit that I'm gonna save for later. But because by later I mean it could mean anything, since this video is fairly long, as you can see. I'm gonna tell you at the very end, right before I exit the portal, right after I kill, and guess who the chief is? Bugs Bunny. Anyway, right after I kill the last kobold, I'm gonna reveal you the name. Until then, you may be wondering, why'd you need tender wolf meat? Well, I already told you, it's about bunnies. But not just any bunnies, it's related to Lepus. That's why the main character is Lepus, so it can be in your face that these rabbits are not any rabbits, they're giant rabbits. Okay, maybe not giant, but they're meat-eating rabbits. Not if real-life rabbits were meat-eating, but these ones are more predatory, They kill with the same ferocity as the rabbits in Lepus. So yeah, this is the part where you kill wolves. You can see that the dagger got replaced, but pretty much all other items will remain the same. This is pretty much the only difference, but I'm still gonna do a full run. It's gonna be kinda like that. The video made by my cousin Andrew, but he sort of recorded the audio alongside the video. But I recorded the video but without any audio. So now I have to make a whole new audio. kind of like a video jokey, you know, those panda films. Action-packed game. Is it a crocodile? Is it a dinosaur? VJ Katos Bob 1, 2, 3 coming at you from Elwyn Forest. The best of the best movies. Yeah, the salesman isn't here anymore, and you can see that the teleporter isn't here either because it's some sort of, it's based off of Murloc 1 and not Murloc 2. Murloc 2 is kind of like an expansion pack or something. It's the same game, but it has a little bit more. I promise you that after this one I'm gonna do a bunch of skips. I'm gonna make it a lot faster because it's gonna get kind of boring. I think that I lagged here, so I had to jump cut. Anyway, after I collect all the meat, I'm gonna have to do a bit of grinding and, you know, speed it up. It won't happen anytime soon though. There's something just so interesting about, you know, the characters in here in terms of aesthetics, you know, they just look so much more interesting than all those other games. I don't know why. You know, I mean, I see a ton of games on commercials and advertisements in the games that I play or on YouTube, and they just all look so boring for whatever reason. Here though, there's something special about them, maybe because they're so energetic. Or maybe because it sort of could be because this game gives you some sort of choice about what you want to do. I mean, there are several kinds of, there's all these kinds of cool attacks that you can get simply by playing for a few minutes. But, you know, if you play one of those mobile games, you just have some stupid quote-unquote hero. More like a zero, am I right? Those people, and they're probably gonna have the least cool attacks because, you know, you just can't afford to let, you know, players get actually good-looking stuff unless you force them to either grind or pay for it, you know? It's just the mobile market. And even then, even the cooler ones supposedly that appear on, you know, those advertisements, they still look kind of boring. I'm sitting here in my recording room and I think I can hear footsteps. I think that my parents are hearing me and I'm getting kind of worried. It's just a bit of black smoke in here, but it just in my opinion, looks a bit more interesting than a lot of other stuff I seen advertisements for others, you know, mobile games. Or maybe it's just me looking through nostalgia goggles. Yeah, I think I'm just being nostalgic. I've been playing this game a lot since I was a kid. Or maybe it's the fact that you're here to kill wolves and stuff like that, you know? Wolves are animals, and these don't have the proportions of wolves. They have those giant paws, and those weird tiny heads, and those hunched backs. They look more like... They don't look like wolves. They look sort of like wolves, but they're half wolves, half, I don't know, something else. That might make people like me subconsciously think that they're to some extent monsters out of this world. That makes them more interesting, you know, because orcs and elves are basically just green humans. And it just feels that, like, in all those games advertised, the only things you'll see there are humans or orcs or elves or stuff like that, and they're kind of boring. Maybe that's why. Okay, maybe, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be an orc character or a human character or something like that, but the only thing you see is zombies and orcs. It's gonna get kind of boring at times, but here now you're fighting with wolves, and then you're gonna be fighting against giant crabs. And after that you'll be fighting not only with crocodiles, but with three-legged crocodiles with three pairs of legs. You'll be fighting against rat miners. Yeah, I'm level 3 and I'm now in that quest in which you have to kill ferocious or something like that. So I'll have to skip this part. Okay, I'm not gonna skip it, I'm just gonna speed it up. So I'll have to go silent because the battle music sounds like popcorn. And the wolf's death sounds like that Yoda death sound that was cut abruptly. Okay, maybe a little bit like the Yoda sound, but not much. Maybe only a little bit similar, but still kind of similar in my opinion. And there we go. We're at level 5. We're gonna get ourselves the pyroblast. I used to do some sort of gamble in this game. It was a high risk, high reward sort of tactic. Half the time I would, you know, kill this enemy with Pyroblast because it's a fairly useful, spell. But the other half, the game would simply freeze because it takes 3 rounds to cast the spell, and if in the last round, the last turn, I mean, the wolf howls at you, which has no other purpose in the game. It doesn't give him better chances at anything. It just annoys you with that loud roar. Anyway, if he roars right before you do the strike, he's gonna jump at you and you're gonna strike him at the same time. He won't deal any damage to you usually. He's just gonna die, but the battle won't end. If he doesn't die, he will die a bit of damage, and then he can't do any other turn. He won't get to your turn, So, because it's not your turn, it can't be his turn either, because it was just his turn the previous one. So both of your turns are consumed at the same time, so I guess that's why the game sort of freezes. So you can't really get out, so you need to reload the page, and many websites no longer support this flash version, sort of storing your progress. So if you reload the page, you'll have to do the thing all over again, which is the only thing you can do in that situation. This is why I'm not using Pyroblast right now. I got kind of scared. This fight could have ended much quicker if I used it, because I wouldn't have shown you that situation, or at least only part of it, and the rest I would just skip the grind part. But yeah, this slowly chipping away the health is the situation is gonna repeat itself throughout this video. Something else about the video is the fact that I sort of pause a little bit when text is up, so you guys can read it, while my cousin Andrew in his video sort of skipped through all the dialogue. He used all those fancy spells, and he pretty much just speed ran through this entire game. I, on the other hand, I'm taking this fairly slowly, and this is why this video is pretty much an hour and a half long. So you'll have to sit through me talking, hopefully talking, because I think that with an hour and a half of this video, I think that I kind of run out of things to say, Either that, or you're probably right now, skipping with that right arrow key, or by double tapping the right part of your phone screen. Probably selling stuff right now. that Pharaonius dagger is, a tooth with a little bit of blood on it and with sort of orange rays radiating from it, but when I was a kid, I thought it was actually some sort of tiger robe for whatever reason. You know how all those... You know how in media rich people are portrayed as wearing robes made out of fur that was taken from big cats like leopards or tigers? I thought it was one of those in my possession when I was a kid. Snub.
Snipsneebu
Make sure to save right before you fight the first crab, because this was this is a recording of the first time I realized that it is possible for these crabs to not give you the ring, the one ring, which you have to give to Murgle or something. I think that's his name. I don't know what's it, or Tricks in this game. You have to give him the ring so he can give you a stingy, a pretty nice weapon. But sometimes you can't really find the ring, so you'll have to load to your first encounter with a crab all over again and fight them until you get the ring, which is a fairly common occurrence. I don't think that you need to fight them too many times. You know, I counted around 14 of these, 13, 14 of these rabbits or murlocs, including Patch in Murloc 2, which is absent from other versions of the game. And the camp's chief says that the camp has grown empty since the departure of the finest warriors or something like that. So you'd expect to be a fairly large number of warriors, but you only have 8 pillows made out of wolf tails, which are fairly small in comparison to the heads of the murlocs. So if one pillow means one murloc, then you'd get 8 murlocs, which were sent to fight the kobolds and would have returned, but 8 murlocs to 13, 14 murlocs at the camp. I think that if they really sent that many warriors and only 8 returned, I think that the kobolds are fairly, the kobolds are a force to be reckoned with, because that's why they sent them in the first place. But there's just that mine that close to them. There's a merchant that can always give you money, and these kobolds are not regular kobolds. There are about six of them, of which one is a mage that Lekan himself admits to be stronger than him. So if there really were kobolds that close to the camp, and only 8 warriors returned, in my opinion, I think that they should have been doing something about it. In the end, it's all fine and dandy because you go there to kill them, but why weren't they trying to fix this problem until now? But who knows, they sent warriors, and in war they people in war, as far as I know from all those movies, war is a fairly harsh thing, so I think that a trained warrior that has been through all those harsh coaches would probably have no personal space, so they could be, if there were 2 murlocs on a single pillow, because they simply didn't care, they had other things to worry about, like their own survival, then you'd get 16 murlocs, which is much more reasonable, so I think that's an explanation. Still, it's kind of fun to think about. Anyway, you're here to fight the princess, which was apparently some sort of joke among Warcraft fans. The same thing apparently applied to to the pillows. Apparently they're also a Warcraft meme of sorts. Excuse me, princess. That's a Cunniculus sound. For whatever reason, when that sound is played, I hear them say Muriel, as in the old woman from Courage the Cowardly Dog. They're not saying it Muriel, they're saying Muriel or something like that. I don't know why, I just hear this whenever they play this sound. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start chopping up the fights. I don't know, I did this thinking it would be more dynamic, but it just looks weird. I chopped the times where I selected the moves, so that they'd be shorter while at the same time being more cool, in my opinion. So yeah, I've been training up my magic skills to take on this princess, and I guess this is gonna go pretty well, you know. I mean, there's nothing wrong in using magic. It's a perfectly fine practice. Also, I just killed the mom of a bunch of crocodiles. You know, imagine all those other cubs of hers coming down and thinking, Mom? Mom! You know, there's a bit of a rhyme and reason behind the whole Feronious, the ferocious, the wolf. So it's a sort of glitch, you know? I mean, if he held it you right before you're doing the pyro strike, the game would lag. As you're about to see though, this one was not predictable at all. It came here, you know, without any warning. Yeah, turns out my game just froze at this point, so I had to. My only option was to refresh the page and do this whole thing all over again. All of this because of the pyro strike. So in order to not do this again, I decided to go melee mode next time. Still, in response to this, my reaction was kind of like what you're about to hear. Yeah, I had to use the power of jump cuts to skip over the training, and I did this right after I reloaded the whole thing. So I was getting kind of frustrated. I had to do this whole thing all over again. I was getting kind of bored. So the real reason why it's muted is not because of the power of jump cuts. It's because I listened to a podcast to make it just less frustrating. So I had to mute the audio because, you know, it's not cool to put someone's audio in your own work for no reason. Although it's arguably not my work, this gameplay video, it's probably to some extent Samin's work. And this time I gained the ring, so I could give it to Trix. Remember, this ring costs about 1 gold coin, which means about 100 silver coins, but if you ask him for money, he'll give you significantly less. And he won't give the weapon, so always pick the stingy, it's always more effective. This particular part where I'm standing is for whatever reason my favorite part in the game. I don't know why, I just like it. Probably because you only get to see it once, and yet you can still fight wolves and all that good stuff in it. I was scared when I was little that if you pressed let's go, you would get to nighttime, and you'd have to deal with Cunniculus and the mage all over again. Right now I did the same thing as I did with Cunniculists. I'm using Combo Strike right now, but you probably can't tell. So now I defeated her. Time to head back to the camp. Wait, what did you say? Hey. For whatever reason I clicked on the mouse and I skipped the video, so it might get a bit out of sync. Also, fun fact, that tent extends to the other scene. So if you see those stakes in the ground with ropes attached to them, leading to white cloth, it's actually gonna be the tent. Also, as you've probably noticed right now, there are quite a lot of dead murlocs in here, of all things, in a camp with rabbits. So, as it turns out, it appears that Bug's camp is fairly inclusive, it includes the murlocs, they don't oppress them, they allow them in their society. It's a very diverse camp. So yeah, pay attention to the tent because you'll you probably notice that it's the same tent in the two scenes. This tent is the same as the one on the left. And here comes the hard decision. My only weapon is the stingy, which as I told you is worth 100 silver, or maybe 10 silver, I don't know, but no, 100 silver. Either way, it's more than enough for the 2 sticks of dynamite, which are useful, but at the same time it will leave me with no weapon. But because I had to deal with that princess, and I had to do this whole thing all over again, I was too bored to, you know, go grinding for silver at those wolves twice for the dynamite, so I just sold it. Now I'm just selling my useless items, hoping that, you know, I'd have enough money, but no. Selling the stingy is inevitable. I personally think that if I decided to grind the wolves instead, by the time I would have gotten 2 sticks of dynamite, and then went to kill the kobolds, I would have wasted more time than how much I wasted right now because I sold it. Or because I didn't sell it, I'm gonna sell it right now. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. You know, as a kid I thought that the green thing on their heads was actually supposed to be some sort of hat. Kinda like a Santa hat, but green. Turns out they're actually supposed to be candles, of all things. I mean, imagine if you could take it off their heads. I think that you'd see quite a lot of burns in there because fire tends to be quite hot. Another thing that the wax on it can absorb so much heat. So it's obviously gonna get to the skin. I think it would get through the skull as well. I really don't think that's a healthy thing to have a candle on your head. Your brain could overheat and you die from coma. Maybe these kobolds have numbered days because of this. The clock is ticking. Maybe because of that, the Murlocs decided that they could be left alone. Because they'll eventually die from their brain overheating. So yeah, right now I'm trying to kill these guys with my bare fists. So I'm gonna have to skip after I kill this guy, but I'm gonna show you why I muted the audio in the other ones by not muting the audio in this one. And it's gonna sound like popcorn. But until then I have to kill this guy. I told you, it sounds like popcorn. And at the end, I'll show you the wolf death as well, so you can see why I think it sounds kind of like a Lego Yoda death sound, but you know, paused in the middle. They sound like record scratches. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Oh. And now I'm off to find the one, the only, the Magnus the Mage. You know, take candle is supposed to be another sort of inside joke in World of Warcraft. For whatever reason, they were obsessed over their seemingly useless candles. Turns out that this in the chest is actually the second strongest weapon in Murloc 1. In Murloc 2 there are way stronger weapons than this one. And at the very end of the game you get a very OP weapon that you can't really use anywhere because, you know, you just beat the game. What's left of you to kill? So I have to eat all those, all that powdered sugar or that magic dust and punch this guy. And I have to be careful not to get this guy to heal himself because that would mean that I'd have to do this whole thing all over again. But at the same time, I would have, you know, less magic powder to refill my power strikes. So yeah, it would be a pretty stinky situation. I have no weapon. I'm running out of magic powder, but I'm still going to kill this guy. There you go, I killed this guy without any weapon or any magic. You know why? Because we're Lepus, that's how strong we are. So yeah, you'll go to Camp Duracell in the Barrens. The pink energy rabbit. In the first game, he told you that you'd go to Camp Ginzo in the Barrens, but in Murloc Part 2, you're going to Camp Gizbo in Mulgore. So there's a bit of an inconsistency here. And this is pretty much the end of the game. When I was a kid, I thought that simply going left would cause me to step through the portal. So that's why I sort of went left to test if that was actually true. I don't know why right now I decided to test this, but whatever.
Why do you
Psh, nothing personnel, kid. My cousin said that this was too loud, so I decided to turn down the music a little bit. Actually, I don't think that he said that. He just in his video, when he got to the credits, he seemed kind of stressed, but he didn't specifically say that it was too loud. But just in case, I decided to turn down the music a little bit. Also, you might notice kind of how everybody's still called Bugs and Max and Lepus, but they still call these guys Murlocs for whatever reason. Also, the bad guy is apparently Sirath, a buddy of the creator of this game, who helped him with the code and all the good stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the Dark Moon Fair and prepare your ears for something that's gonna be fairly catchy for a few hours after this video. I don't know. This song tends to get stuck in my head for a little bit. It's not like other songs though that keep popping up all over again every single day. No, this one just lingers a little bit. By now, if you haven't been, spamming the right side of your screen with your finger, or spamming the right arrow key, you have been watching this video for pretty much an hour. So congrats on that. I really don't think that you seriously watched this whole thing without pressing the right arrow key. So yeah, we're fighting all these bosses all over again. Actually, no, we're fighting all those enemies all over again because we've never fought a king crab, only beach crawlers. Also, this king crab is not a true crab nor a false crab because instead of having 4 respectively 3 legs, walking legs I mean, it only has 2. So it's not a true crab. And king crabs are actually more closer related to some kind of lobster looking thing. But they're not that either because they have 3 legs. And now I'm lagging. Normally lag would kill lives, but you know, this is a turn-based game, so I don't really have to worry about too much. So we'll have to fight Muriel all over again. And after that, the princess, Agnes the mage, and Sirath. So yeah, now prepare for the most boring minutes of your entire life. Because this fight is gonna be very long, and it's not gonna be very climactic. It's just gonna be this dude flexing on us the entire time, occasionally dropping two or three kicks, but that's just pretty much 1% of his attacks. The rest is just flexing after flexing, just 24/7 flexing. I mean, you'd expect this to be a more serious climactic battle. I mean, this is Sirath, the bad guy, the guy in the red robe, the guy telling you, find him, kill him, nothing personal, kid. But then again, this is actually, I wouldn't call him MC. That's kind of stupid. He's the character of Unmediocri's friend. That's one. And two, we're here playing an after-game secret, pretty much a joke. So really, I don't think Unmediocre was really, I don't know, I don't think it was his obligation to make this a serious battle. So yeah, we're here fighting this joke of an enemy. The battle is far from being over, as you can see. I've been fighting this guy for 2 minutes already. Actually, no, 3 minutes. This is gonna last for 5, maybe 6 minutes. This is kind of like the Doom Frog in the second game, minus all the challenge. Because unlike the Doom Frog who instant kills you, this pathetic loser only deals a little bit of damage every time he kicks you. We don't have much left. This whole thing will be over in about in a minute or two. So this fight lasted for about 5 minutes. This is actually surprisingly short. When I was fighting this guy, it felt like half an hour or something. As you can see, he came here essentially naked, showing off his quote-unquote muscle mass and flexing on me all the time. you know, in a desperate attempt to hide the fact that he can't grow facial hair, other than his, you know, he can't grow a beard. The only thing he, you know, he looks kind of like a girl if you think about it. So that's probably why he's flexing on me. He's trying to cope with that. But we still beat him because we're Murlocs. That's what. No. We're Lepus. That's how strong we are. Also, you can notice that I got myself a rune of teleportation. No matter how many of those you collect, you won't get out of here. But you can, by loading the game over and over again, you can play the challenge over and over again and get a ton of gold. But there's really not much you can do with all that gold, come to think of it, because this is the end of the game and you only have what, like 8 enemies to kill, of which 4 are pretty much the same. The 2 wolves and the 2 Searoths. Come to think of it, before Murloc 2 even began, you killed the bad guy twice as a rabbit. I don't know about you, but in my opinion this is pretty much more than enough for a vengeance plan. So I think I loaded the game back, and you can see how much gold I got selling all these things, and I got all these runes, just to show you that you can do that by loading the game and playing through this over and over and over again. But you'll have the mace, and this is pretty much the end of the video. This is where I should leave you, but you know, obviously there is gonna be a little bonus at the end. Make sure to skip this part. Still, I'm surprised I could stay here and say something every, I don't know, 30 seconds. To me, that's quite the accomplishment. I mean, I didn't run out of things to say for about an hour and a half, which is okay, not an hour and a half, but an hour and I don't know, a quarter. It's quite impressive in my opinion. And thank you for sticking with me in this pretty pointless video. I mean, its whole point is that my cousin made that Murloc gameplay and commentary video, so I decided it would be fun to make my own. Actually, no. I decided to make a gameplay video, not commentary though, because I thought it'd just be better to leave it without any commentary. But I didn't know what to do with all the footage that I got, so I just kept it dormant until he showed me that he made a gameplay and commentary video of Murloc 2, so I decided to, you know, show you this footage that I recorded and edited a little bit so it wouldn't be too long. I mean, imagine if I left all all those scenes where I had to fight the kobolds and the wolves and the crabs. It have been horrible. So I hope you enjoy the video, and soon enough, and I think that in a few seconds I'm gonna show you how it looks like when you die in this game, because you can't really see dead rabbits in the camp, so anyway, if you want to play this game yourself, you can find it on orcgames.com. That's where I found it, and there was another site that hosted it. It's actually very hard to find on this website, on the internet in general. And this is probably among the few gameplay videos to be published on YouTube, because I know that there is a gameplay video that was not made by me, it was made before me, and it was used as a sort of walkthrough on orcgames.com, but I don't think that it was uploaded on YouTube. I mean, there could be videos of Lepus on YouTube, but they probably aren't, you know, you're probably not gonna see them. So yeah, that just about does it. Bye.